Hello friends, and welcome to week 3. And this assignment is a little bit different because rather than working on your project, we're going to do some mental gymnastics. Now when you think about gymnastics, you think about someone who is using all of their muscles to accomplish a task. And so what we're doing here is we're building some critical thinking by stepping away from the creator that you've been working on and thinking instead about a specific cultural moment, specifically the suffragette movement in the United States. And we're then thinking about art and how it related to that. And what this is doing something called synthesis. It's merging two ideas and bringing out everything that we've been learning in the class and helping you to apply those things. Remember, we're going back to that idea of going and applying and evaluating and analyzing, moving up that pyramid. Okay, so the first thing I want you to take note of in this week's assignment is that there is an image that they suggest that you use. It's called The Awakening. And I will open it for you so you can see it. It looks like this. Now, here's the thing. This is the one that they've given you. But I'm going to give you some more choices that I'm going to link in this announcement that you can use if you would like, if it speaks to you more. Some people might see this and go, oh man, I have to do this. No, you don't have to. But I do want you to be thinking about it carefully, so I'm going to give you some ones that I already approve. If you have something that goes outside of this, please let me know, because I want to make sure that it's a suffragette in the United States and not something that will get you off track. Okay, so I want to show you some other things that have worked in the past. This is a Library of Congress link, and it is a wonderful, not just collection of postcards and posters, but also some really great information. Photographs are absolutely fine to use for this as well. Those are art because of the composition of it, right? I mean, look at this. These beautiful lines that the photographer has captured within the image, as well as these very staunch ladies. Notice that the way that they present is very solid, just like the building, and that's on purpose, right? So that's something that you can talk about while you're uncovering these works. How does that relate, right? Again, some really great information. Now, it does go into some UK things. I am very happy for you to use the UK because it was actually happening very much at the same time. Another great poster. So that's one thing. We also have the Google Arts and Culture, which again has some wonderful images. This is also by the London Museum, and it's got some really great information, some beautiful images, and I think I want to show you one particular one that I particularly like. If I can find it here. This one. I quite like this one because of it's got several things going on here, right? It feels a little medieval, but yet it's not, right? It reminds you of those sort of illuminated manuscripts of old, but it's comparing one for one, right? A woman can be a mayor, and a man can be a convict, but he gets the vote and she doesn't. So what it's doing is it's comparing good and evil, sort of this good idea, bad idea kind of a thing. That's a very interesting thing to unpack, and perhaps that speaks to you. Another one that's really great is the National Endowment for the Arts here in the United States. It's got some wonderful images and information in this particular publication that are just great. So I'm going to link this as well. That's something. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is Mira Cassatt, who is a brilliant painter. If you don't know her work, I really recommend it. But one of the things that she does is in her paintings, if you look at this, it looks like a mother and a child, and they're playing with a mirror, just something you would do with your child. But this sunflower actually is a suffragette symbol. And so really what this painting is doing is saying the mother is letting the child see its reflection with the idea that she is giving her daughter more rights than she had. That's really powerful, and she's a powerful artist. So if that appeals to you, I really recommend reading that article and choosing it. Okay, now let's take a look at what it is you're going to do. This is going to sound a little familiar because it's something that you'll notice we're using a process to evaluate the artwork. What's the subject? Let's think about that in terms of Mary Cassatt. The subject is a mother and a child, right? Who's the audience? That's something that you're going to have to dig into the artist to find out. Who are they trying to reach? Who do you think they wanted? Was it women that they wanted to support? They wanted the women to support the movement? Was it men in the government that they wanted to change their mind? The medium. If it's a poster, it's sort of for wide display. If it's a painting like Mary Cassatt, it's actually intended for sort of the upper class, for those who are going to museums and to galleries. So what is that? How does that affect who's experiencing it and why they're experiencing it? What do they want you to change? There's a wonderful perspective that I bring from the theater. When we're making devised theater, one of the procedures that we use is something called the RSVP method. And the V in that stands for value action, all one word. And what that means is, what's the value that you want people to take action on? So when you think about all of the suffragette images, they have a value that women should be able to vote. They want you to take action on it. What's the action that they want you to take? Because it changes based on the audience for the work. So think about that carefully. When we're interpreting that, how is it trying to change what culturally is already present at the time period? Remember, women couldn't vote. So what were women doing? That was one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this. They're doing a lot of things, right? They're making a difference in the world. So what is it they're trying to say? Think about that. It's an interesting, you might have to dig into some history to get there. That's a wonderful way of getting into some research. Describe the relationship between selected creative work and today's society. Well, we have the vote today. We have the 19th Amendment that gives women the right to vote in the United States. So why would that work be relevant today? We just went through an election, and the 19th Amendment was discussed. I'd love to get your thoughts about why it's still important to have these conversations around the idea of women voting, and what aspects of the work are not relevant anymore, or perhaps too small. Because, like, for example, when you look at this particular model, that's not all women can do today either. So let's think about that. What aspects of the work would not be relevant or maybe are too tiny for our society today? As always, I am very happy to answer any questions as you go along, or if you need extra time, just let me know. I am really excited to read your work this week.